Welcome to WeLearn Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 26, Tribals. Topics which we are going to cover in this session are tribal society and economy, social and political movements in India, characteristics and consequences of tribal movement. Coming towards the first topic, tribal society and the tribal economy. The primitive technology, namely hunting, food gathering, and shifting and terracing cultivation, is confined to the heavy monsoon zone covered by the tropical forest in northeast parts of eastern and central region, the Nilgiris and the Andaman Islands. A large number of them are engaged in cattle forestry, fishing, hunting, etc., and as workers in the construction sector, mining, and quarrying. Ecological degradation has severely curtailed the related traditional occupations of the tribal community. The tribes are moving away from their traditional occupation and settling down as peasants, and they have taken up new vocations to augment their income and raise productivity. There is a sharp rise in the number of tribals employed in government and private services, self-employment, etc. The tribal are also craftsmen. Carving and body tattooing consist of forms of art and craft prevailing among the tribal people. Wall painting and drawings have emerged as another major form of art in recent years. The impact of development process, particularly education, has created a new stratum of entrepreneurs, businessmen, teachers, administrators, engineers, doctors, and members of defense service among the tribals. Social and political movements of tribals. In the pre-colonial period, some of the tribes founded states in the territories extending from the northeast through Middle East to the western and southern India. For example, in western India, the tribes such as Gonds and Kolis were reportedly in the distributed states. The first phase, that is from 1795 to 1860, the rise and establishment of the British rule saw the beginning of first phase, 1795 to 1860, of the tribal uprisings, which may be described as primary resistance movement. The Santhal insurrection 1855 to 1856 represented a traditional phase marked by the aggression, resistance, and revivalism. In the northeast, the sub-phases of tribal rebellions could be similar, democratic. The Khasis were engaged in the act of depredations in the plain they raised from 1787 to 1825. The Singphos, Mushmims, Lushais, Compton, and Daflas raised pains and killed people. The Khasis opposed the construction of the roads, and the Confederation of Khasi chiefs resisted the British attempt at the occupation of their country, led by Trai Singh. The second phase, that is from 1860 to 1920. The movement led by Birsa Munda 1874 to 1901 is the best known as socio-political movement of this phase because the movement sought to establish Munda Raj and independence. The rebel attacked police station and officials, churches and missionaries. Though there was an undercurrent of hostility against the Diku's outsiders, there was no overt attack on them except in a couple of controversial cases. The second phase, 1860 to 1920, coincide with the onset of the intensive period of colonialism, which saw a much deeper penetration of merchant capital, a higher incidence of rent, etc. into tribal and peasant economies. It intensified the exploitation of the tribes. The Bhakti movement, with its tenets of monotheism, vegetarianism, cleanliness, abstention and from liquor, etc., was introduced by mendicants, artisans and peasants moving into tribal areas. The third phase. The first 10 is the impart of freedom struggle led by Mahatma Gandhi, who mobilized some of the major tribal groups in national movement and reconstruction program. The second trend is represented by the movement centering on land and forest rival and reform of tribal society. The third trend is reflected by the rise of movements seeking autonomy, statehood, separation and independence led by the tribal middle class. In the princely states where tribals were more backward, the Praja Mandals launched movement against the feudal order by mobilizing the tribal. The tribes who responded particularly to those movements were the Bhils, Gonds, Kharwars, Mundas and Kons. Most of them had a notion of property, private or communal, land which had been threatened by colonial system and feudal exploitation. Two nativistic movements sought to revive the pure and pristine element of tribal culture. The Sindh Khasi, a social cultural organization of the Khasis, had been established as early as 1889 to preserve the Khasi way of life. The second, the Zilangrong government started as a religio-cultural movement under Jagun Nag. Post-colonial period. The post-colonial period witnessed intensification of the exploitation of resources of the land of the tribal and their marginalization, immiseration or pauperization. Despite progress in education and employment, representation in politics and share in power, and affluence of section of tribal middle class. Tribal movement may broadly be classified into political movement for autonomy, independence, state formation and self-rule. Agrarian and forest-based movement. Political movements. There have been attempts at articulation of the aspiration for political autonomy among the Gonds and Bhils during the period that followed independence. On 19th May 1963, Narayan Singh Okhe, president of Konvana Adivasi Seva Mandal, reiterated the demand for the formation of Gondwa state, consisting of Gond and other tribal religion of Chhattisgarh and contiguous district of Vidarbha in Maharashtra. It was in Chota Nagpur, Santa Pargana region of Bihar that the moment of political autonomy and formation of a state really developed further. The Adivasi Mahasabha was wound up and merged with a new regional party, the Jharkhand Party, in 1949. The Jharkhand Party was thrown open, at least in principle, to all resident Chota Nagpur. The Jharkhand Mukti Morcha emerged as a major political force in the industrial and mining belt of Chota Nagpur and in state's politics after the 1980s general election. It sought to broad-base this separatist movement by including with its embed the peasant and working class. The Jharkhand is described by its ideologies as an internal colony which is being exploited by outsiders. In 1988, Bharatiya Janata Party committed itself to the formation of Vananchal state in terms of regional backwardness. The Committee of Jharkhand Matters recommended setting up of autonomous authority. The Jharkhand Area Autonomous Council came into existence in 1993, but it fell short of the expectation of the people who demanded nothing short of a full state. Next are the political movements in Northeast. Tribal movement in Northeast stand in the category by themselves because of the region's unique geopolitical situation and historical background. One tribes assumed new names, small tribe merged with larger tribes, and the tribes combined to form a new ethnic territorial identity. The insurgency is now dominated by the Hemis and the Konyaks and Tangkhuls. The Naga movement. The Naga movement is the oldest ongoing movement for autonomy or independence. The club discussed social and administrative problems involving all the tribes of Naga Hills. The Naga Club submitted memorandum to the Simon Commission in 1929. The nomenclature of this council was changed to Naga National Council in 1946. In 1946, the British government proposed a scheme to carve out a trust territory comprising the Naga Hill and the NEFA area by a part of Burma as a crown colony under control from London. The objective of NNC have developed through many phases from autonomy to independence. In 1954, the Naga announced the formation of the Honkin government, that is the People's Sovereign Republic of Free Nagaland. On 1st August 1960, Prime Minister Nehru announced in Parliament the decision of the government to make Nagaland the 16th state of Indian Union. The NNO was formed mainly by those leaders who had been instrumental in bringing out statehood for Nagaland. The hostile stood divided into three camps: the pro-Physio Federal Party, the group led by Maul Agami, who became vice president of the underground Naga National Council and who commanded the Federal Party of its reconciliation with New Delhi and denouncement the insurgent for betraying Christianity. Next is agrarian and forest-based movement. In the post-colonial era, the pattern of alienation of tribal resources such as land shown as marked change. Tribals are being displaced not only by non-tribals but also by the state and other organizations which require land for development. In February 1981, there was an unusual spurt of forced harvesting on lands taken away from them by non-tribal, raiding of houses of money lenders and decamping the mortgaged valuables. The Gonds also prevented the demarcation of land for afforestation. They had earlier reacted strongly to scheduling of the Lumbardars of Community of Traders and Moneylenders as a tribe in 1977. Because the Lumbardar always exploited the tribal and their status as a tribe helped them to legitimize their illegal possession of the Gond land. On 20th April 1981, a conference was planned by the CPI-ML at Indervillas. Characteristics and consequences of tribal movement. The leadership of the tribal movement has mainly emerged from themselves. The Santal brothers were landless. Birsa Munda was a Riayat or a Parja, and Govindgiri was a Hali. The leadership of the third phase and the post-colonial period was provided by the members of the upcoming tribal middle class, both in Middle India and in the Northeast. The social and ethnic composition of the movement ranged from the movement led by a single tribe to a confederacy of tribes and the caste subordinate to the tribe such as Aristian and service group. In the third and post-colonial period, broad-based political parties emerged among the tribes both in Northeast and in Middle India. The All India tribal platforms gradually emerged in 1960s. In the short run of authorities responded by taking immediate measure to address the tribal concern, devise measures to protect their resources, facilitate access to the officials, etc. In the long term, the colonial policy built up a framework to institutionalize the isolation of tribals, a combination of element of direct and indirect rules. Now in the end, there are few questions which are based on this session. Questions are, what is the Singh Khasi? And question number 2 is, what was the Crown Colony? That's all for this session. Thank you. Happy learning. We learning.